guys, I'm Maggie. Welcome to my channel. Yes, this dresser is really ugly inside, but that's okay. I'm glad that it's on the inside because nobody ever has to see this part. Nobody will ever know. Here we are again. Thank you for being here. I'm working on this vintage waterfall dresser. My last project was also a vintage waterfall dresser. I have done a few now. They are quite readily available where I live in Canada. I'm in Ontario, Canada. And I am just doing a really quick refinish on this one. This dresser doesn't need a whole lot of work, so I'm just trying to get it done really quick. I'm already halfway through and I just realized that I didn't film an intro, so I'm doing it now. I've already sanded the tops of the fronts of the drawers and the top, and I've done 2 coats of paint. So we're already halfway there. But for you guys, I'm going to start right at the beginning. So stick around to the end so that you can see the reveal and some cool close-ups and all that stuff. So yeah, let's go. Excuse me. Are you my helper? Are you helping? What are you doing in the drawer? Well, this isn't starting off so great. Not really sure how I'm supposed to do anything with Rue in the drawer. Rue! And this one over here ready to get in too. Rue, I need to get to the handle, please. If I can. Not gonna work. Guess I do need the small one. Okay, watch your butt. Your butt's in the way. What am I gonna do here? Me? Okay, thank you. Goodbye. How do you get this handle off? Yeah, I took the screws out, but the handle is not coming off. What are we to do? Are you friggin' for real? Ah! I think it was glued. So this is where my microphone quit working, so I just decided to do some voiceover. I am using my favorite cleaner again, Simple Green. I clean all of my pieces. It works great. Gets all the grease off and dirt, and I love it. I always get a kick out of my intros when I rewatch them while editing. I usually have high hopes that a project will be quick. You'd think I would have learned by now that my brain just doesn't work that way. So just know that it is totally okay if a project takes longer or becomes more in-depth than you planned. Just be gentle with yourself and it will all work out in the end. That being said, I always amaze myself when I do complete a project. I'm sure some of you can relate. Something was splashed on the inside. I wiped it down and thankfully it didn't smell. Some of you may really like the original look of these vintage waterfall dressers, and so do I. Some I like more than others. Some are in need of repair, and sometimes the repairs are too much to keep it in original condition. This dresser is in great shape to start with. Unfortunately, in my area, they are not in high demand in their original state. So by giving it a facelift, I can make it more desirable and it can find a new home, and maybe a few years from now, someone will want to give it a different look again. And that's okay. That is just how trends ebb and flow. Being an artist at heart, when I refinish a piece, I try to be mindful of the trends as well as staying true to myself and the looks I like or techniques I like to experiment with. That brings me joy. So just because a piece of furniture is getting painted doesn't mean it has to stay that way forever. And that's another reason why I like using chalk paints. They are easily removed when styles change. There were a couple of gouges out of the bottom part of the dresser, so I'm using my Quick Wood. It's a 2-part epoxy wood filler. It works really good. You can mold it into any shape you want, and you can sand it and stain it and paint it. Most of these vintage dressers have these metal tacks on the legs that can easily scratch up your floors. There is a simple solution you will see closer to the end of this video. Here I am using Dixie mud to create a raised stencil, but you can also use joint compound or salt wash, plaster of Paris. There are probably other mediums as well. I can't think of any others, but please feel free to leave me a comment if you know what some others are. I'm spreading it evenly over the stencil. It has been a while since I have done a raised stencil, so my first ones I didn't scrape the excess off before removing the stencil, which pulled some of the finer details off. As I went, I figured out how to get them to come out even. I try not to be a perfectionist, and I like things to look handmade, so I'm okay with some unevenness. This one here did not work out at all. I had way too much mud on top. It's a little hard to see on video, but lots of the mud pulled off with the stencil, so I just scraped it and started over. The rest went smooth. I still had too much mud on the stencil here, but at least this one turned out okay. All of my prep work is done. Now I can move on to my favorite part. I'm excited to be using for the first time Annie Sloan chalk paint. My local privately owned paint shop has just started carrying it. I was so eager to get my hands on some. I was the first person to purchase from her. Go check out lifesrosie.ca. She also has an Etsy shop and she ships all over the world. And no, I'm not paid to share. I just love supporting local, especially since I get most of my supplies from her. Thanks, Rosie. Now, I am not going for a smooth finish here. In fact, when I use chalk paint, I don't expect it to be smooth. You can get it smooth, but not without some extra effort, which to me becomes more work. And when a project becomes more work, for me, it is less fun. I want to see brush strokes, so I brush in all directions to create texture you can see. This time I am working smarter, not harder, by adding masking tape so I can hopefully minimize paint getting on the areas I want to keep wood. Before I add stain, I'm doing a paint wash. I really like the effect I get when I do this. It's almost a driftwood effect. So I do the wash and let it dry completely, then give a light sanding and then stain. There are a few past projects I have used this technique on. I will add a link to one on the screen and in the description in case you want to check it out. After you finish this video, of course. You can go heavy or light with the paint depending on how opaque you want it to be. The more paint, the less your wood grain will show through. I also sanded down the handles to bare wood, but not bothering with removing the finish inside the carved details since I'm doing a dark paint wash over them. I'm using the same Annie Sloan paint I used for the dresser. Graphite is a dark charcoal gray. To make a wash, I add half and half, so half paint and half water. I don't measure. I don't think that it's really necessary to measure, but you can if you want. I use a heat gun from time to time. I don't enjoy watching paint dry, so there's no harm in using a heat gun sometimes. I'm using General Finishes Armor Seal to protect the handles, and I also added an extra layer of protection on the top of the dresser. I am using Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax to seal up the chalk paint. Chalk paint always needs to be sealed. Since it's a water-based product, it will just rub off or wipe off. So sealing it is very important. My favorite is a wax. It gives it a buttery, smooth feeling. I apply the wax all over and wait about 5, 10, even 15 minutes sometimes. And then I buff it off with a dry cloth. The more you buff, the shinier it will become. So I like it more matte finish, so I just rub off the excess and don't overdo it. This is the second coat of wax I'm adding now. I normally don't do 2 coats, but this paint was really soaking it up. Some of you may know what this is. It's called a lino print or lino print. It's a lot to explain, which I may do in a separate video. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. Essentially, it's a handmade stamp. I'm rolling on chalk paint to see how it will stamp onto the sides of the drawers. I wasn't expecting it to be solid, but I did want a little bit more of the paint to transfer. So on some of the next ones, I sprayed the stamp with just a little bit of water, and it seemed to help. Overall, I'm very satisfied with how these came out. What do you guys think? To help highlight the raised stencils on the sides, I wanted to add gilding wax. I have gold and bronze, but nothing in between. So I made a mix of both. I ended up with a dirty gold color that would add just the right amount of shimmer. This is where my video stopped recording. I must have hit the button while multitasking, but I'm just using my finger to brush on some of the gilding wax over the raised areas. This is what it looked like after. I buy 50 at a time from Amazon of these screw-in felt feet. I've tried the tack-in ones before, and I don't find they hold in as secure as the screw-in ones. I will add a link to the Amazon listing in the description, along with other items you have seen me use. I do apparently get a small commission if you purchase from my links, but I have yet to accumulate any kind of funds from that. Mostly due to my lack of actually posting those links. I am not sponsored by any company at all in any of my videos. I just use the products that I really like. This one here, the Howard's Feed-In Wax, is one of my favorites. It smells nice. It has like a little bit of an orangey smell, not flavor. Don't eat it. And it really helps to nourish the wood. A lot of these vintage dressers have really dry wood, especially inside the drawers, and this just really brings them back to life. Well, this is not really the most ideal setup for filming a video. I'm in my robe. It's Friday morning and I am editing my video and realizing that I didn't film an outro. Usually I sit in front of the finished furniture and talk to you guys, but this is me and this is the area I'm editing my video in right now. This is my whole work. This is my dining room, and I have furniture stacked around me to try and close in the space so that when I do the audio and voiceover stuff that hopefully it sounds a bit better. It doesn't really work, I don't think. I don't know. This is the first time I tried it. But anyway, so here I am in my space. I have my cup of tea with me in my favorite pottery mug, and my notepad to write stuff on. Anyway, so yeah, so the dresser is done, and I'm going to be showing some close-up photos and all that fun stuff in a minute. And I just want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos, watch this video and all my videos, and I'm really enjoying the process. I do not like video editing. I have discovered it is very difficult for me to sit in front of a computer for any length of time, and I find it very, very challenging for me, but I'm managing to get it done. I don't know how. And yeah, so I'm just super glad that, I'm here and you're here and you're enjoying my content. And I'm just over 4,000 subscribers now, which I am still like in shock, I think. I don't know if it's gonna register ever. So, anywho, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one. Here's the finished dresser.
Everybody has their job, 9 to 5, and getting drained. They settle for second best, scared to risk what the future might bring. What the future might bring. I hold my breath, waiting for someone to knock at my door, telling me there is more waiting for me. Whoa. If I love you harder than I've ever done before, oh, maybe I belong somewhere above the water. My lungs are tired from running for a long time. My feet got blisters, but maybe I belong if I love a little harder. If I love all the ways the world puts me to the test, if I embrace every fall, learn to grow and keep myself tall.